Hello friends, today we will see part 2 of Unit 1, Overview of the Operating System. Unit outcomes are identify types of OS suitable for the given type of application, execute command on the command line for the given task. These are the contents of our today's lecture. We will start by batch operating system. Early computers were run from the console. These computers were not having input-output devices that we are having today, like keyboard, mouse, and monitor. The user of the batch operating system do not interact with the computer directly. Each user prepares his job on an offline device like punch card and submitted it to the computer operator. Now here I use the word job. The meaning of the job is that it contains the program, the input data required for the program execution, and the control information for the program execution. These three things are written onto the punch cards, and that punch cards are submitted to the computer operator. Now, who is the user? User of the job is the programmer who is writing the program. And the computer operator is the person who knows how to operate the computer. The user of the programmer does not know the instructions of the computer operation, and the computer operator does not know the content of the program. The card readers were used to read the contents of the punch card, just like today's hard disk drive are used to read the content of hard disk. To speed up the processing, jobs with the similar needs are batched together and run as a group by the computer operator. So, before this, what happened? The computer operator will execute the job in the sequence they are coming to him. That is, there will be different types of job with the different needs. So every time whenever there will be execution of the job, the computer operator requires to install all the resources which are required for the execution of that particular job, and then start the execution of that job. And after completion of the job execution, the computer operator will uninstall the resources allocated for the job execution. So this installation and uninstallation of the resources is the time consuming, and during that period the CPU will sit idle. So in this way it is also called as a sequential OS. So in this sequential OS the CPU idle time is very more. So the computer operator decided to group the jobs of similar needs. Means he has created the grouping or the batches of the job which are of same need, same resources required for the execution. And he started to execute the program or job in the form of batches. After some time, the output were appearing and sent back to the programmer in the form of punch card. Again, when there will be job execution completed, the output will be stored into the punch cards, and that punch cards will be issued to the programmer. The output consists of the result of the program, dump of the final memory, register contents of the debugging. The major task of the OS was to transfer the control automatically from one job to the next job. Now, the memory layout of the simple batch system is like this. The memory content will be the operating system and the user program. And in this user program area, the resources which are required for the execution of that program or the job will be stored. Now here is the one batch of the job. So all these jobs are of same need and will require to execute in the batch. Okay, so the operating system will first take the first job as the resources allocated, resources required for this particular job will be already assigned to the system. Now the job 1 will be executed, after that job 2 will be executed, and in this sequence all the jobs which are of same needs will be executed, and output will be stored onto the punch card, and that punch cards will be submitted to the programmer of that job. So the advantage of this batch operating system is it will reduce the CPU idle time. That is, as compared to sequential OS, batch operating system will require less CPU, will have less CPU idle time. So increased performance as a new job gets started as soon as the previous job is finished without any manual intervention. Disadvantage: difficult to debug the program, lack of interaction between the user and the job. A job could enter in an infinite loop. Multi-programming system. A single user cannot keep either CPU or I/O device busy at all times. So during execution of that program, the program may require CPU as well as the I/O devices. So when the program is performing operation with the CPU, I/O devices will be idle, and when the program is performing with the I/O device, at that time CPU will be idle. So the multi-programming increases CPU utilization by organizing the multiple programs in the memory so that the CPU always has one to execute. So in multi-programming, multiple programs are used to store into the memory and they are executed. The operating system will pick and begins to execute one of the program in the memory, and the program may have to wait for some tasks such as the I/O operation to complete. In non-multi-program systems, CPU will sit idle. But in multi-program system, OS will simply switch to execute another program when first one is performing I/O operation. So when second program execution is going on, it may happen that it also require I/O. So again, it needs to wait. The CPU will be again switched to the third program, and so on. In this way, it may happen that after some time, the first program has completed its I/O and will come back waiting for the CPU and will be assigned to the CPU for the execution. So, in this multi-programming, CPU will never sit idle, always have one program to execute, even if others are performing I/O operation with the others. Now, this is the memory layout of the multi-program system. Here, operating system will be there in the memory and multiple programs will be stored, multiple jobs, programs will be stored into the memory, and all that will be executed simultaneously. CPU will be multiplexed into them. That is, here at some particular instant of time, CPU will be allocated to only one program or only one job. When that program is performing I/O, it will be used by the other program. So here is the multiplexing of the CPU. Not the CPU is allocated to all programs. That is, all programs are not executed at the same time. They are executed simultaneously. The advantage is high and efficient CPU utilization. User does not feel that many programs are allocated to the CPU simultaneously. Disadvantage: CPU scheduling is required to accommodate many jobs in the memory. Memory management is also required. So the next is time shared or multitasking system. Time shared or multitasking is the logical extension of multi-programming. Time shared is a technique which enables many people located at the various terminals or from the single terminal to use a particular computer system at the same time. So whenever there will be multiple terminals using, it will be time sharing, and whenever multiple tasks will be performed by a single terminal from a single terminal, it can be a single terminal. So both are same. So the processing time is shared among the multiple users simultaneously is termed as the time shared system. So a fixed time slot will be allocated to each user program execution. So multiple jobs are executed by the CPU by switching them between between them, and switches occur so frequently that user can interact with each program while it is running. Now see what happens here. If we will consider multiple users will be there from multiple terminals, all that are having some fixed amount of time slot of the CPU assigned to them. During that period, that particular user program will get executed. Now it may happen that that particular user program will require some IO. So it will be performed by the user. And this switching is performed so fast that each user is having feeling that the CPU is working for them only. Multi-program system objective is to maximize the processor use, whereas in time-shared system the objective is to minimize the response time. Response time means the response given to the user. Here the multiple users will be in the system and the response given by the system to that users will be very less. Now in memory or if we will see the timeshare system are represented like this. Now here what happened when we are performing or using various applications like Word, email and web browser. These are the, let us say, these are the different applications. You are working from the same system or from the different system. Now, the fixed time slot of the CPU will be given to the Word program, after that email program and after that web browser. And again after to the Word program. In this way, this will go in a sequence and all these user of the application will feel that the CPU is working for them only. Now, advantages. It provides the advantage of quick response, avoids duplication of software, reduce the CPU idle time. Disadvantage, problem of reliability, question of security and integrity of the user program and data, problem of data communication. So the next one is multiprocessor system. Multiprocessor systems are also known as parallel system or tightly coupled system. That is, more than one processor will be there and they are performing the operation. Now, such systems have more than one processor in close communication. That is, that processors will share system bus, system clock, and sometimes memory and peripherals. So, there are two different types of multiprocessor system, symmetric multiprocessing and asymmetric multiprocessing. In symmetric multiprocessing, each processor runs as an identical copy of the operating system. All processors are peers. Many processes can run simultaneously. If n CPU, n processes can run without affecting each other. Many processes can run at once without performance deterioration. They can communicate as needed. Most modern operating systems support SMP, homogeneous architecture, and examples are Sun OS version 5, Solaris 2. Asymmetric multiprocessing. Each processor is assigned a specific task. Master processor schedules and allocate work to the slave processor. More common in extremely large systems. Any hardware or software can differentiate between SMP and AMP. These are heterogeneous architecture. Examples are Sun OS version 4. Advantages: increased throughput, economy of scale, increased reliability. Now, the increased throughput means as there will be multiple processors present in the single system, the throughput will get increased. Economy of scale, the resources which are connected to that multiprocessor system will be shared by all the processors. So this is reducing the resources cost. And increased reliability means if any processor will fail, system will not completely fail. It will just reduce the performance. So disadvantages of the parallel system is if the master fail, complete system will get failed. Distributed system. A distributed environment refers to multiple independent CPU or processors in the computer system. The operating system distributes computation logics among the several physical processors. Means here the processors are separated by long distance. In case of our multiprocessor system, they are tightly coupled, that is They are in close communication. Here they are called as loosely coupled, means there is the physical distance between the processors. The processor do not share memory or clock. Instead, each processor have its own local memory. These are called a loosely coupled system. The operating system manage communication between the processors. They communicate with each other through the various communication lines such as high-speed buses or the telephone lines or even the Wi-Fi. It requires the networking infrastructure and protocols. Local area network, wide area network can be used and may be either client server or peer-to-peer system. The distributed systems are represented like this. Each of these systems is having its local memory and processing capability and are connected to the main system. So all these are having their local resources as well as the resources which can be taken from the network. So the advantages of this distributed system are: with the resource sharing facility, a user at one site may able to use the resource available at the another site. Speed up the exchange of the data with one another via electronic mail. Failure of one site in the distributed system does not affect the others. The remaining sites can potentially continue operating. Better service to the customers. Reduction of the load on the host computer. Reduction of the delays in the data processing. Disadvantage is depend on the network. Real-time system. These are special type of systems. Real-time systems has a well-defined fixed constraint. Processing should be done within the defined constraints only. The primary objective of the real-time system is to provide the quick event response time and thus meet scheduling deadlines. User convenience and resource utilizations are of secondary concern in case of real-time systems. The real-time system processor is allocated to the highest priority process from the group of ready-to-execute processes. It uses priority-based preemptive scheduling. The primary function of the real-time OS are manage the processor and other system resources to meet the requirements of an application, synchronize with and respond to the system events, and move the data efficiently among the processes and to perform coordination among these processes. There are two different types of real-time system: hard real-time system and soft real-time system. Hard real-time system means these are strict about the adherence to each task deadline. When an event occurs, it should be serviced within the predictable time. It should not go beyond or before that predictable time. It's very efficient, very specific in case or related to the with respect to the time. The secondary storage limited or absent in the hard real-time system. Data stored in the short-term memory or the read-only memory. It guarantees that the critical tasks to be completed on time. For example, video transmission. Each picture frame and the audio must be transmitted at a fixed rate. Soft real-time system. There can be few deviation between the expected time of the task and the observed time constraint. Few new time variations are allowed. The critical task gets priority over the other task. Can be mixed with the other type of operating system. Limited utility in the industrial control of robotics. Useful in the application multimedia, virtual reality, requiring advanced operating system features. Mobile phones, digital cameras. This is one of the example of the real-time system, the application. So, satellite application of the real-time system. The satellite connected to the computer system sends the digital samples at the rate of 1000 samples per second. The computer system has an application program that stores these samples in the file, and the sample sent by the satellite arrives every milliseconds to the application. So the computer must store and respond the samples in less than 1 millisecond. If the computer does not respond to the sample within this time, then the sample will lost. Now here, this is the satellite, this is the computer, the application is stored into this computer. The samples will be given from this satellite to the computer, and the computer application has to respond in the milliseconds. If it not respond in milliseconds, the sample will get lost because the satellite will give next sample. So this is one of the application of the real-time system. Another applications are flight control system, simulations, industrial control, military applications. Mobile OS. Mobile OS are designed specifically to power smartphones, tablets and wearable. The mobile device we take with us wherever we go. The top popular mobile OS are Android, iOS and other are BlackBerry OS, Web OS, Watch OS. When we first start up a mobile device, we see a screen of icons or types. Without OS, device would not start. The mobile OS is a set of data and the program that runs on the mobile device. It manages the hardware and makes it possible for a smartphones, tablet and wearable to run the apps. A mobile OS also manages mobile multimedia function, mobile and internet connectivity, the touch screen, Bluetooth connectivity, GPS navigation, camera, speech recognition and many more. Most operating systems are not interchangeable among the devices. The regular upgrades of the OS are generated to improve the device capability and security. It is good to keep all our mobile devices upgraded to the most current version of the OS. Next is the operating system interfaces. There are two different types of interfaces, command line based OS and GUI based OS. The command line based interface is the text-based user interface used to view and manage the computer files. In the early days of the computing, before the mouse, it was the standard way to interact with the computer. In this type of operating system, the user can type command to the open file, delete file and any other work. This type of operating system is difficult to use by any normal computer user. MS-DOS and Unix are the command line based OS. GUI based OS graphical user interface objects include icon, cursor, buttons. The GUI operating system are much easier to learn and use because commands do not need to be memorized. Additionally, users do not need to know any programming language. If you want to open a program on GUI system, you would move the mouse pointer to the program's icon and double click it. The Windows and Linux are the examples of GUI based OS. Thank you.